Alright, so this is episode 9 on the Datsun Restore. It's all about getting rid of shoes. No more brake shoes. It all started because I only have one of these and I need two, and I was going to make another one. They don't make them anymore. So let's do rear disc brakes. Right, Amber? You're not going to help me, are you? Hey, they work. Parking brake works. Anyways, I just bought some Pathfinder WD21 rear discs like I put on the last two vehicles with those weird brakes, but I didn't want to use the same brakes I ran on the hardbody and the Pathfinder, so I picked up these Maxima rear brakes. And the reason I picked these out of the blue is that they've got the parking brake mechanism internal, just like the old my buddy's 79Z had. I love this style. I hate the parking brake inside, which I think is what, like, I think it's what my Leaf has, my Frontier D40 has, the Armada had. I'm sick of drums, so I bought these. I just measured them. They're a little too fat. I need to go to a thinner rotor. I just measured these. It would actually fit, and I could actually trim these, but I can't get this piston to go in anymore. It will not go anymore. Try squishing it. There's tons of room here. In theory, they would fit, but I've already tried screwing this piston in, and it's not going in anymore. Try compressing it. All this wasted space is enough. I only need like 50 millimeters, and this is like 70. So in theory, these would work. Maybe I could actually take the caliper. Maybe I can't get these to work. You can see with these worn pads, there's just about like 3 millimeters, maybe 4 millimeters of clearance off this bracket. But this overall dimension is so much more than here. So this piston needs to go in more, but it doesn't seem to want to go in more. So I gotta modify the piston. Yeah, I just try to get this boot off. I should probably just take this piston out and see what it looks like. See if it's changeable. See if it's modifiable. So I pull this lever. It does go out a little bit. Love these calipers. The bracket's real simple, so it should be easy to fabricate a bracket down to the axle tube. I need to take off. Yeah, get rid of those backing plates. All right. So this is the first for me. 9/16 for the back bolts. The 4 bolts. I don't think this thing's ever been apart. I used to take apart mine all the time when I geared these things down, geared them up. I think these got 437s in them, just like the hard bodies. And well, my first 620 had a 4.6 because it was an auto. I blew that up, put in a 4.3. I put in a 5-speed, then I put in a 4-speed. 3 different trannies in that truck. You get the socket on the last one. Won't fit. So there we go. All I gotta do is get rid of the wheel cylinder, and I'll press off this back. I'm really curious if my tool I made for pressing these bearings on and off for 233s that I've used, if it'll work on a 190. I've never used it on a 190 before. But we'll find out in a minute. I just cut this brake line because it's rotted anyways. Should just pop off now. Whoa. I just took the parking brake cable off. That was pretty easy. And I was hoping this would be an I to match the Maxima, but that was wishful thinking. I'm sure I can make an adapter, or I can just get Maxima parking brake cables. I started to remove them, but the Maxima cable was really simple. It's kind of like the Pathfinder. It's just one cable, another cable up to the puller. I ended up converting my D21 to Pathfinder cables and then making a 12-inch adapter. This thing has got the most complicated parking brake system with all the levers and stuff, which is cool, which I'll keep. But if I have to, I just gotta get this out of the backing plate. I don't think there's any clip back there. I don't think this thing has ever been apart. So, get this thing off. Brake. I didn't know there's any fluid in this ruined. Stupid parking brake. Some pliers or something. Or a punch. Get this thing off. Come on, parking brake. Go. Yay. We did it. Well, the good news is a 233 and a 190 is the same. This is probably from one of my old, God knows what axle. This is actually my second tool I made. I tried to make a portable version. Take on the trail. You put chains to those hoops to pull it off, or gear pullers. But I can't find my other one I made. I must have gotten rid of it. So I'll take this one. I don't know if this has ever been apart before. First thing I gotta take off is the 19 millimeters. I'm gonna take out this brake line. Oh, it's also 19 millimeters. I'm not going to disassemble the brakes because actually I need to, don't I? Brake line out later. I'm gonna make new brake lines. Those are pretty rusty. Best way to get these loose. Yeah, I'm gonna take those brakes all apart on it because I need the cable off. Oh damn. Axles out. Let's take out the shims. Keep them on the right side. Tabs off. Which way does this go? Maybe tighten. I can loosen it with a screwdriver, so it's not that tight. Bearing's pressed on. This nut is totally useless in my opinion. There's no way that bearing's going to come off once you see how tight it is on there. I've got to roll it and see how it rolls. The nut, lock washer, and a washer. And we'll press this thing out. My new little jig. Alright, since I was misplaced or thrown away my old H3 tool, I had this made years ago. So I just drilled a 1/2 inch hole, 1/2 inch bolt, put a piece of angle iron, stick a couple of bolts in here. The theory is put the axle in here, and I'm fucking with my other tool is a little bit smaller. Kind of goes like that. Put the axle in from the bottom. Probably gonna have to cut these down to size. Jeez, these are probably too big. I get the idea. I hope. This goes in here. Put the axle in here. I have to clean up my work area, and then press the axle out. I raised up this press years ago, like what, 10-15 years ago, just for doing axles. You can tell it's actually a little guy. It's a small, it was Northern Tool or something, I don't know what it was, maybe Harbor Freight. But I jacked it up with some wood just for doing axle shafts. I've done a couple of Jeep axles, H233 33 spline, 31 spline. I think I even did like a samurai axle on this thing. Let me get rid of all this junk and we'll see if it works. Here's what I've come up with on my second generation. Just made a couple of angle iron tees, drilled a 1/2 inch hole, put a couple of bolts through here. That should fit in my press somehow. Alright, I got the tool in there. So I can only put the nuts on so far because this axle is so big, the old one. But I got the tees bolted on. Got my wrench stuck in there. Oh, look at that. It's actually right on the press. Just noticed. So now, in theory, I haven't done one of these in a while. Should just press off. Actually, no, no. Aluminum spacer in there just to protect it a little bit. There we go. Now let's see if I can switch up so you can see how much force is on these bearings. Oh, I think it just moved. It just gave loose. It's going. She going. That wasn't too bad. Tool's still stuck. The axle shaft is on the ground. Everything falls around here. What a mess. Alright, now do the other one. So I think before I do the other one, I'm going to weld this nut, or this bolt rather, inside the carrier. There we go. My other one was a one-piece. And I have seen on eBay you can buy a one for Toyota axles the same way. They make a tool for the Toyotas, which is probably a different bolt pattern. Never seen one. Don't know anybody with a Toyota axle, but there we go. So now to get my tool out, my axle out. Actually, everything's apart now. I just take that nut off. Yeah, I did. Take off my little T. Why am I holding the axle? The axle's not connecting. Take my other T out. Oh my gosh, how am I going to get this out of here? Flippin' mess. Axle in here somewhere. Oh, I think I took this wood out. Take the wood out. There we go. Put the wood back in for a second. Oh! You see now? So now, well, now I gotta take all these bolts out. Or do I? Actually, no, I don't. Backing housing comes off. Now you have one bare axle shaft. I think these are like 29 spline. Yeah, the H233s are 31 spline. The bigger ones are 33 splines. Now I get my stupid tool off of here. This is, I don't know which, this may be from a 233, 33 spline. I did destroy a few axles making tools out of them. I think it was the one I put on the rear WD21 in, my buddy's Frontier. He gave me his old axle, and I think this is a part of that. Pressed chromoly shafts into that Honda WD21. That was a huge project. Had to make a jig on all those weird brakes. This is amazing because these are usually 17. I'm surprised they don't fit. I don't understand. Okay, one side done. Oh shit, there goes all the nuts. Alright, so now, oh, there's the bearing. Re-grease that thing. Now to get the retainer out of the backing plate. Look at those bolts. It's like the bolts are pressed in. Huh. Alright, did a little upgrade on my jig. I put a little tack weld on the 1/2-inch bolt so they won't spin. So now, just gotta bolt this one, put on all these little nuts. I think I did this once with. It's weird that it only goes on like so far. Alright, I got the new one on. Oh. Yeah, welding that nut on there made it so much easier. So here we go again, let's see. Takes a bit of force. I think this is a 20 ton. Oh, jeez. Hear that? There we go. Bang. Alright, so I don't know how much you saw, but oh wow, look how small that is compared to the newer stuff. Jeez. Bolts are out. Now that just there's nothing holding this in now. There we go, one backing plate ready for sale. Bearing retainer, make sure you keep the bearing that went in there together. Press that back together later for a little cleaning. I just found some old bolts from a 233 axle. These are 10 millimeter and these are, well, I don't know what these are. Whatever 10 millimeters equivalent to, 3/8 or something. So I do have at least 4. I'm sure I'll probably have more. If not, I can get more from the junkyard. These would be hard to find. So I may just upgrade them all to 10 millimeter while I got this apart. Why not? Basically the same size, same length. The new ones are just a smidge shorter. Oh, these are actually splined down here, and these are not. These are just. These aren't even splined. These are just. I wonder if they'll fit in there. All right, so I got the bearing all cleaned up. Looks pretty good. I'm just gonna re-lube it up. The bearing packer here. Keep forgetting which way this goes. I think it's the other way. How many times I do this? Oh, that's the right way. It's coming through. Seems to only work one way. What a nasty job. There we go, time to get dirty. So now I've cleaned this thing up. This is a really weird axle. It's almost like homemade. It's not symmetrical all the way down. It's like tapered. I've never seen an axle before like that. I never noticed it before. I don't know if my old 74 was that way. Anyways, I put it back in the race. I'll make sure you put that little shim back on the bottom down there. And that's it. Now I'll put on the washer. Got the lock washer. Shim's going last. Clean this thing up. I'll be soaking in kerosene for about 12 hours. Got rid of a lot of, I don't know, dirt. Where's the slot at? There it is on the other side. I've got a bearing to push on there. So this is the, what I do is I put the little bearing things, an old bearing. So I put that over here, push down on that, and put it in the press. Alright, so I got that in there. So I got that bearing under there. Kind of push it back in. And then I just put like a block of wood because it's weird shaped. I put that on there. A little pyramid. I can miss this one. Smash your finger. Here goes. Push it down. And that's it. It's seated. You can hear the wood cracking now. Bearing's back on. Now I'll throw it back. Oh, you know, I should have put these studs back in. I noticed it was easier because these are different than the newer stuff. But you can still get them in. Because I may upgrade those or drill them out. I can put bigger bolts in there, I think. It's pretty tight, but... So now you notice after you press this bearing all the way down, now you can put on the washer, the lock washer, and the nut. But see, there's still some slop here. That's normal. The bearing is all the way down. There's still that free play. I've already got this one on, and it's tight. And until you put those shims in, it'll be too tight because that's the actual preload. So now I just gotta put the nut in the washer on. So now you just put on this safety washer, goes in that slot. Then you put on the nut. I think it's the bevel down. And this just needs to be snug. Kind of like a front wheel bearing. That bearing is not going to fall off. This nut is, well, if there is be side load. So that does keep the truck stable. Just pound that down, whack it around, bend the little tab. Chisel of some sorts. Here we go. I think we're just about. That's pretty much it. Finally lined up. Oh, that actually looks like the one I bent. Oh, look at that. That one is the one I bent. You can see the teeth marks on it. That's it. Sorry, I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing, but now I can put in these weird nuts. Yeah, this thing needs to be cleaned. These are a nice press fit. Oh, my other nut's gone. So these are smaller than a 10, so I can technically drill these out to a 10. I've got some spares. But these are real bad because probably hard to find these again. But for now we'll use them. Alright, I'm going to throw it back in the other side, kind of like I did this side. Okay, so these WD21 rotors, they're really good on the H190, but these brackets I got for a Maxima, the caliper fits really nicely. I think it's the wrong side, but put in the pads, there's a couple of millimeters extra, but the bracket is designed for a single, not a vented rotor or whatever, vented rotor. So I need to shape just a tiny bit off this ear. There we go. I actually used there's a casting line. I cut on the outside of the casting line because I only need to remove 4 millimeters. That's more than enough. That's enough to chisel. So I just hacksawed off that. I haven't used my hacksaw in a long time. Now the bracket fits over the space. I can file it out a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to cut that. I'll go back to the so here's the rotors for a WD21 Pathfinder. Some part numbers. Yeah, these are these are rock order auto 87 and 95 rear. Look like the exact same diameter as the original drums. Just a coincidence. I had no idea that was the case, but I just knew they were 6 lug, and I put them on my other trucks, so I assumed they'd work on here. I'm just going to make some brackets. And that sounds annoying. Upgrade these to 12 millimeter later. 12. So here's my first mock-up. So I just figured out these calipers. I want to go right because of this tab. I want to go here, so the axle, I have to put a hole here. No, just kidding. So they want to go like this. So this big old cable holder, it's too big. That needs to be modified, unfortunately. But this bracket lines up with these bolts. I was originally just going to weld it to the tube, but I could actually just make 2 tabs off of here. I don't know if you can see this or not. But man, if I ground these down, let me think about this. If I ground these down 3 millimeters, if I had a way of doing that, I could just put a flat piece of plate right there, put longer bolts, because it wants to go on the back of the wheel because of the bleeder screw and the tab. So it wants to go right there. That's how it was on the Maxima at the junkyard. The first thing I gotta do is, it kind of wants to be all the way down here level based on that little pivot point, I'm assuming. But I think they work on like this. Yeah, so the first thing I do is I gotta take out this stupid bracket and redesign it. I need to put this pivot back on too. But yeah, this should be pretty easy to make a bracket. Goes across. So it's got to be thick. I'm gonna have to put longer bolts. I really wanted to weld it to the tube. I didn't want to mess with these bolts at all. If I go over here, I'd rather have a bracket that comes out here and picks it up and not mess with these nuts at all. But it's so close to these things. So if I welded a piece of plate in here, I'd have to put spacers. So that would be an option. I don't have the neck. Alright, I'm actually surprised this fits. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It does rub on the wheel, but these are 14-inch wheels. I'm either going to go to bigger wheels or like Titan 18-inch wheels. Oh my gosh. Or wheel space. I don't know if the caliper would fit. Actually, like it may fit in there. Oh. But like these are, what the hell are these wheels? 18s, I think. Anyways, oh. But yeah, it won't fit, go all the way down. So, it almost fits, which is surprising because the rotor is the same size and the caliper's outside the rotor. But what was I saying? There's like a 3-inch inset, so I'd need to run like a 3-inch spacer or at least a 2-inch spacer to bring